Everybody, happy Friday the 13th. I am so excited to be here with all of you on this day. Here we are. We are in the sign of Gemini right now. We have a lot of things going on right now in the world. And so being here with all of you is truly one of my favorite places to be. I'm just so thrilled and excited that I get to be with all of you every single week. So I'm just going to make sure everything is on correctly. We do these things, right? We like to make sure that it's all is well. And so that's the case. It looks like we're live on both places, both on Facebook and on YouTube. If you are watching from Facebook, I haven't yet figured out how to be able to see the comments. I'm sure there is a way, but I haven't gotten it yet. So if you want to be able to comment and also for me be able to respond, being on YouTube is your best place. Now, if you come to YouTube and you haven't been here, I am actually at the same name, which is at hello, Cole. Thank you for being here. So I am at the same title of a lot of my other accounts, which is at Carey Spirit Mentor. If you come and join us on the live stream on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe and feel free to check out my other videos. I'm so excited. So people do kind of trickle in over time. It's kind of like the Friday vibe. So welcome in. I'm so excited you're here. Now, every Friday we have a format we follow, and I always get really excited about it. And I think that everybody who comes also is excited, but I really encourage you to know that if you're part of this family here, that you can interact and also affect the readings we do on the live stream. The way you can do that is by, first of all, signing up as a subscriber. And then I make posts there regularly. There's a place that just says posts. And so I like to say, how are we doing? Do we need it? What are we thinking about? What should we do a reading on? Let me know in the comments. And so I do like to interact, but I'm so excited you're here and welcome. If you're new, I'm just thrilled you guys are here. So let me kind of get you down, into what we're going to be doing today, right? So the first thing I do every single, I would say, let me come to this one. Yeah. So every single week, what we like to do is we connect in with the different, I would say, places that I work with clients. So I am a psychic medium. So I do talk to spirits every day for my job. And then I help people learn to connect with their intuition and also to go on their spiritual path. I work a lot with the divine feminine and with the goddesses, which I call the Rose Council. And so every single week, what we do is we start out with channeled messages from the goddesses and the Rose Council. Then we move on to the Akashic Records. Now, if you are new to the Akashic Records and you're not familiar with them, I do several videos about them regularly. I'm going to be also posting some content which will make it even clearer for many of you of, what is, what you can expect when it comes to connecting with the Akashic Records. If you're interested in learning more, I teach classes in it. And I also have a free guide, which you can download, which you can find on my website or here on the YouTube channel. So what I do is I just like to tap in with the goddesses first, and then we move into the Akashic Records. And then the final part of the live stream is we talk to the ancestors. Sometimes ancestor messages can be a collective of ancestors. So that could be, whoever is going to be watching it at any time, they can come in and bring messages as a collective. But also sometimes I am an evidential medium. So that means I bring forth a message specifically from, one loved one in spirit. And I will be going on and more about that. But in the meantime, if you're having a cup of coffee or tea, please feel free to take a sip because that's what I'm going to do. Okay, so when we connect with the goddesses, a couple things happen. So the first thing is I open up, I like to tell people because I am a teacher, so I like to explain to people what I'm doing so you can learn how to do it yourself. But the first thing I really do is I open up my energy field and I just see which of the goddesses come forth and what the message is. If you're watching this back on the live stream recording, everything will be time stamped, by the way. So if you're missing this or you haven't been able to come, not a problem. You can watch it later. So that's absolutely, part of what happens typically here. So what I'm going to do, open up my energy. I'm going to see which goddesses are coming forth and what their message is. So just give me a moment and I'll be with you in a second. Feel free to get comfortable. And again, thank you for being here live as well. So this is what I thought. I'm getting a message from the collective of goddesses. So that means that many of the ones I work with are just hanging around, really wanting to make an impression and to connect. And in a way that feels like they're bringing forth a message for many of you. That's what I'm getting. So many of you, many of them. Okay. So I'm going to be just channeling. So there's different types of channeling. You're going to learn more about that on this channel. This is more channeling. There's also trance channeling. And typically when I'm doing a live stream, I don't always go into trance. And the main reason is because I'm connecting with you in the comments and I'm also doing different types of readings. So I tend to just do more of a connection with them. And that seems to work really well. So let's continue. And again, if you're watching from Facebook, welcome. I cannot see the comments if you're in Facebook. If you come over to Carey at Carey Spirit Mentor, I'll be able to see you and your comments as well. Okay. So let's bring through the message and just see what it is. The main thing I'm hearing them say is to right now, you really want to be focused on taking your time to cultivate your connection with your own intuition and your spirit guides. And that is not always easy for many people because we don't always spend the time or give ourselves permission to have downtime. So if you're busy, often what a lot of people do is distract themselves instead of spending concentrated time working on things that will really deepen their spiritual practice and also work on healing. So the goddesses are coming forth and they're talking about that. And I am also have been guilty of this too, where I feel I'm so busy, I don't have time to do these other things. Well, I make time now. And that's really the message, is that even if it's 10 minutes a day, a few days a week, making time to open up your energy and just connect in with spirit and learning to release expectations, learning to relax and observe, learning to be neutral, and also learning how to not over identify with your thoughts. I think one of the biggest challenges that most of us have is that we tend to identify more so with our thought patterns than we do with the connection to our hearts and the connection to spirit and seeing things objectively. So that's a big part of why the message here from the goddesses is to not over identify so much with your mind, because the mind really works in this way of sending us limitations. It sends us a negative commentary of our world, of relationships, of ourselves. And so it puts you in a bit of a trap, right? Hello, Amber. Welcome. Happy to have you guys here as always. Thank you for being here. So you're nice and early. We're still here with the goddesses. They're really mentioning about creating a spiritual practice that's consistent. Also, when I'm leaning into this message, I feel a lot of pressure on my third eye. So that means, and this is a message that's been coming through in many of my readings, is that I believe many of you are opening up your third eye, your clairvoyant center. And what this might look like for you is starting to get pictures and images, possibly even little movies of information. So when you start to feel that, again, this is about just taking a moment, setting aside time, and allowing yourself to just allow the pictures to flow. Hi, Rosie. Allowing the pictures to flow and allowing yourself to open up. And this is another thing I want to say is that as you learn to train yourself to become an intuitive for yourself and open up your energy field for spirit. Really, there's a big thing I say to my students and clients a lot is really validate every single thing you're getting. So if you're taking the time, this is what the goddesses are saying, to open up your psychic and intuitive senses and also communicating with spirit. eh, I want you to have a sense of being really methodical about it. And in the sense of, make sure you have maybe a journal that you write down your experiences in. Make sure you're logging some of those down. And then the other thing is you really want to validate what you're getting, because a lot of the times what we do is we dismiss it. And the spirit world is trying to get your attention all the time. And I almost sound sometimes like, at a human level, I feel like I'm a broken record because I'm saying the same simple things over and over. But the beautiful part of this is that, you know, oh, I just felt my neck there adjusting me. Oh my goodness. The beautiful part is that, sorry about that. That was that they're just like, they work on me, I think, almost all the time, the goddesses. So they're like, sit, move, do that, open up. So the things that I keep expressing to you guys about taking time out for your spiritual practice, writing things down, validating what you're getting, things of that nature, that makes such a huge difference in your development. And also when you're getting all of this information and these activations that come through when you're talking to your spirit team. So the goddesses are really coming forth mentioning that today. That's a big thing. They're going back over it yet again, wanting to make sure that all of you are remembering to take time out to really listen to your spirit team, to your higher self, and get those deep messages. That's something that's really, they're harping on. They are definitely coming through in a way that is like a tutor, like a mentor, and like a guide, and giving us instructions in order to be connected. I just get a really deep sense right now with everything that's going on in the world, on our planet, and then everything where we are on our spiritual path and our path of ascension, that things are moving very quickly. And so why they're going over these things again and again is to make sure that there isn't a big gap when you are asleep at the wheel. That's really, really what I'm getting. So I'm going to pull some cards they're suggesting and just see what comes through. Now, the deck I'm using today, I have quite a few things to catch you guys up on. So I feel like even though I'm here every Friday, this last week has felt like 10 years. And I wonder if you feel similarly. I'm feeling drawn to pull a few crystals as well for this read. I'm going to pull my flower agate. Okay, I'm going to pull the rose quartz, bringing in that healing heart energy and that soft, quiet energy. And then let's do the carnelian just for good measure. So I'm going to this is going to be a message from the goddesses. Again, they're coming through as a collective today. They're not coming through as individuals. They're really moving forward with us, pushing us into a place of alignment. So let's go with this. All right, I'm going to start with 2 cards from this deck, and then I'm going to go into this. This deck specifically by Rebecca Campbell was inspired. Longest week, I felt that I got both nothing and everything done. I think that's the energy. I feel like this timeline we're on right now is moving so fast, but it's so dense at the same time. And for those of us on our paths, we are releasing so much right now. And that's why they want us to really pay attention. They want us to have our eyes wide open. They want us to, really prepare ourselves in a massive way. It's definitely not business as usual. All right. Now I'm going to kind of go into this mode so you guys can see what I'm looking at here. Let me go to this. So this is one of my favorite decks of Oracle is by Rebecca Campbell. It's the Rose Oracle deck. So this is going to be something I'm going to be talking about on the channel every week, probably till October and then beyond. So I just want to go into this a little bit, if I may. So many of you already know that I am what I like to refer to as a priestess. So I'm a Magdalene Rose priestess. And we'll be talking more about that as time goes on. And Rebecca Campbell also is very connected to the Sisters of the Rose, also known as the Sisters of the Rose. That's what inspired this specific deck, the Rose Oracle. So this is very connected in with the divine feminine, but also into the reawakening of the divine feminine rising on the planet and us reclaiming, all of us, not just women, this part of ourselves that is very connected in with our soul's mission on this planet, specifically in this lifetime. So many people can identify with this. This is beyond religion. This is more of a spiritual practice. And many of us remember, like, are starting to remember like lifetimes where we might have been healers, priestesses, of course, witches, where we really were connected to like the sacred feminine. And even all across the world, in Egypt, across Europe, as well as in some of the countries that are further away too, and even more ancient places in the Middle East. So things are rising up, and so the divine feminine, she is rising. She is rising. And that is why we're coming through, why we bring goddess messages through all the time, and why it's a big part of my work. And it's been something that's been more I talk about in this spaces that are with my regular students, but I'm bringing it out now. So we'll be going more into that as time goes on. So the Rose Oracle, if I can tell you, this is what she mentions here on the back of this deck. A secret symbol of goddesses of old, the rose holds ancient wisdom and potent medicine for these times. The soulful, deep-rooted guidebook will help you connect with the healing energy of the rose. Return to the ever unfolding true nature, be in tune with changing seasons of your life, and hear the voice within. The activating oracle opens the doorway to the physical and spiritual teachings of the rose. May the healing mysteries of Mother Rose call you home to your true nature and plant your soul more deeply than before. So that there is so much here, which I could go into. I teach classes on these things. So, but I did want to hold space for you all, just in an acknowledgement. This is coming forward. And also read one more thing, if I may. I'm going to sneeze. Okay, sorry. Came in, came out. Okay, let me go ahead and just read this. And this is why, if you've ever been in any of my psychic development classes, sorry, I knew that was coming. I talk about the red thread. And if you ever feel stuck doing a psychic reading, follow the red thread. Well, the red thread really is something I realize is connected in with the divine feminine, and following the red thread, which is got a lot of mythos to it, which we'll go into. So let's just read a little bit of that so you can be introduced to this beautiful lineage and see if you recognize it in yourself. Mother Rose has been whispering to me for many years. She guided me to create this oracle as a way to lift the veil of the ancient rose mysteries and reconnect you with the sacred energy of the rose, who I believe is a potent healer for these times. The first rose came to me that I consciously understood in 2010. Prior to that, I see that this mysterious healing flower was hidden in plain sight. As the dormant life force energy began spiraling with me, the rose emerged as my companion. She held me firmly in the soil of my changing life, while showing my heart how to open courageously when I most wanted to close, separate, and shut down. So this is a beautiful message, and this is her journey, her personal journey, but also how the symbol of the rose is a symbol of this tradition. Okay. And you can read more about that. So that's how this deck works. And so as we're doing this today, we're going to pull tarot and what do we need to know for the week, but also for the oracle here. So we want to thank the goddesses that are coming forward for us today, giving us message. Okay. This really fits in so far. The breathing rose is coming out. And then we have held. I'll show you all these, of course. And then finally, we have release the petals. Okay, so again, this is a message from the Divine Feminine, from the goddesses of the Rose Council, who I work with and who many of you are probably familiar with, and amazing. And they wanted me to use this deck, Ace of Wands. You'll notice it's a pink rose. I hadn't planned on that, friends, by the way. Also, we have the Tower. So the Tower card has been coming up in a lot of the readings I've been doing, both for myself and also in collective readings. This is a time of immense change. You can feel it on the planet. We all know it's happening, and it's especially heightened right now. 2025 is a very big year on this planet, astrologically, but also really connected in with our soul family here. We are aligning with not only our higher selves, but also our star families, right? With our guides, with our highest timeline. And we are moving into a place of ascension, right? That is what's happening. It's been written about for ages. There's a quickening. So if you notice right here, the Tower card is squarely next to the Ace of Wands, and she's holding the rose. This means that we are literally taking the top off the patriarchal systems that we, oh my gosh, they're really working on me. Sorry. In real time, my neck, my hiccups, I'll just go with it. So they're helping me release as well. So that means when the Tower comes in next to this beautiful rose and the Ace of Wands, that means the old ways are crumbling. That you can tell, right? That's where we are. And that the way things were before is changing forever. And that the toxic masculinity, which we see throughout our world happening in real time, is being challenged. And it may not seem like it, friends. It might seem like they're in charge, but believe me when I tell you, they are not. They absolutely are not. And this is a moment in time and in history. Whenever you find this, you will know it. But the truth is, really and honestly, no more kings. This is a time for the Divine Feminine rising, for raising up, because the mother energy, the nurturing energy, but also the force of the goddess has had enough. The playtime is over. And the ascension part is real, and we are not being held down. This is more than feminine. This is the balancing of the divine feminine and divine masculine emerging. So you can see it in real time. Here we have release the petals, transformation, death and rebirth, shedding. That is all of what is happening now. It's coming square into alignment. We're coming into the place of true resonance and honesty and the frequency that says, I am, right? And I'm looking, actually, you cannot see it from where I'm sitting, but I have a beautiful image here. I'll take a picture of it and put it up on our community page. If you might make sure, by the way, if you're joining us, that you are subscribing to the channel, engage with the videos. It helps my channel so much. But I have an image here of a crow sitting on top of a bed of pink roses. So that's, again, right? We have the combination of like the crow that brings spiritual energy, that also is harkens when big changes coming, but also that things are tumbling, things are shifting. We are no longer in that energy anymore. So we also are getting the breathing rose and held. So in one foul swoop, we have heart healing, connection, and time eases. This is just a reassurance that even though things feel incredibly unsettling and also unstable, you are entering into a period of incredible respite and, again, That's why their goddesses are really wanting you to focus on your own connection with yourself. So making sure you're making time several times a week to have a practice where you're connecting in with your intuition and you're really connecting in with your heart space and you're able to hear, listen, feel, and sense. The last card here, this is very much a grandmother card, like of grandmother, like the card of the crone. We have held sureness of the soil, unseen help, support community. So this is definitely an ancestor card coming through, but also the wise mothers in the goddess realm who come forth to really support us and to bring us into a sense of clarity, and but at the same time reassuring us. This is a huge, big step. Now, the last card I am going to bring, I'm going to pull one of my Divine Feminine decks. I got a new deck that is called the Awakening the Goddess Within, and we'll just see which one comes forth, even though we know we have all the goddesses here with us today, as we mentioned, that we work with, because it's such a big energy. And I'll come into your comments in a second before we move on to the next part of the reading. So let's just see what we're getting here. Who is the one coming through? So feel free, if you have a question or a comment, feel free to put them forward. They're telling me to pick two. Okay. All right. So one of the goddesses is from a closed practice, but because her card came up, we can acknowledge her. Although Oshun is from a closed practice, she has priestesses and priests and lineage behind her, but she's coming forth just, I feel, wanting to just send a blessing. And so we have Oshun, although again, we don't work with her unless we're part of that tradition. We honor that, a closed practice, but we thank her for her stem. Oshun is also talking about the infinite flow. So if her wisdom comes forth for this message today, we have it. It's very much based, she's connected to the water and flow. So we can learn from that and tell ourselves to trust our own flow and healing our emotions, which definitely comes back into the release. We also have an interesting goddess. Well, I'll have to look her up. We have Thea. So let me look her up. This is a brand new deck and a new goddess coming through. Thea, which is spelled Theia. So let's see what her message is. So just a second. Interesting. She is celestial radiance. So I haven't done any specific looking into her pantheon or something. I like to bring education in when we talk about the goddesses. So this is coming from someone who created a deck, but I'll do some investigating. So by the time you see me next week, I'll look more into the details of historical significance. Goddess Thea, she is revered in Greek mythology. I have not heard of her, which is surprising. Embodies the celestial splendor. Let me go. And divine radiance of the cosmos. Celebrated as a primordial goddess of light, sight, and heavenly wisdom. She is often depicted as a luminous figure, adorned by stars and crowned with a halo of light. Thea symbolizes the illumining power of knowledge and insight, guiding seekers towards inner enlightenment and spiritual awakening. She's associated with fertility, creation, and renewal, representing the nurturing and life-giving qualities of the cosmos. Her presence brings clarity and perception and the ability to unveil hidden truths. She's done a really good job with altars and also different representations of the goddess. I'm pretty impressed by this, actually. She's got the altar set up, ways you can worship her or, pay her respect. That's wonderful. So I love that. Okay. Wow. There's even ritual and meditation. I'm impressed. So that's who we have coming through. And again, we don't work with Oshun because she's from a closed practice. So we will honor her for showing up, but also that's about as far as I dip into that. Okay. So let's go ahead and move forward. Welcome in, Deborah. Yes, all the messages we definitely went through. I'm sure everybody in the chat will also share this. We got these messages that we know I'll recap. There is massive growth going on that is very apparent, right? Oh, I know. It's just heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. Um, and that's one of the reasons why the goddesses are coming forth so strong with things in the world, right? And that's what we're getting. That's why they're saying now's a time to really step into into your power so you can hear your divine guidance, and that will really be a huge anchor for you. And so they're saying spend a few times a week, like 10 minutes at a time, just opening up to spirit. That gives you a place of center. That gives you a place of support. That's a place to start. And we can see that, but we also see the divine feminine coming forth with the rose, and then the upset of this, right? Of the tower. Just so much going on in the world. It's very, it's a time when it's like all systems are go. It's time for us to activate and be in the space of healing ourselves and helping to do things that we can provide guidance and healing for those around us. So I get it. I just absolutely, I'm gonna take a little sip. So we want to thank the goddesses and just sit in the energy. My intention always, everyone, is that I run Reiki energy through these sessions. So you can know that is part of it. So just enjoy the energy, Deborah. We're so happy you're here. All really, really glad everyone's here. Okay. All right. We're going to move into the next part of our readings today. And that is we are working with Akashic Records messages. So let's see what the guides are saying. I'm going to tap in, ask what their questions are. Thank you, goddesses and Carey. Oh, thank you for being here. You also make the energy, Deborah, and everyone here. So I'm going to tune in now to the Akashic Records. I'm going to open up my energy field. If you're interested in learning to read your Akashic Records, I have a few things for you. First of all, on my page here on YouTube, you can download my free guidebook on how to access the Akashic Records. I also have a meditation that you can check out here on the page, which takes you through opening up your Akashic Records. And then further, if you're really interested, I'm doing a 7-week Akashic Records certification that starts in July, and all those links can be found on my page. So let me go ahead and open up the energy, and just you guys can sit back and enjoy. I'm going to just see what messages are coming through. Sometimes I pull cards, sometimes I just see what they're giving me. Okay, so let's stay tuned and see what we're getting. So the message that's coming through from the Akashic Records guides has a lot to do with words and communication. And there's a few messages coming through. It really seems to be that many of us right now are at a loss for words. We aren't sure how to communicate, especially during these very challenging times. And often we feel like the words we say aren't enough, and that we have a hard time expressing ourselves, explaining ourselves, and feeling clear. And what the guides in the Akashic Records are saying is take some time. This is why they are really suggesting that you spend time centering yourself, and that you give yourself time to learn to connect with spirit, because spirit and the energy of that, what's going to happen truly is you'll be able to have healing, release, and an attunement from spirit. But if you are spending a lot of time pulling yourself off your axis and not being centered, it's very hard for you to receive that healing. So just as much as you can, spend that time allowing yourself to get the downloads, allowing yourself to have the energy attune, allowing yourself to have the release, and allowing yourself to remember who you are, that you are a spiritual being, right? Oh, that's beautiful. And that you remember what it's like to be in spirit. It's so easy to get disconnected from our spiritual access when a lot of very hard things are going on in the world, and that there's trauma, and there's a feeling of wanting to shut down, being overwhelmed, starting to close off your center. But as the more time you spend with spirit and the more time you allow the energy to open, that's when really you'll have a memory of what it's like to be connected. So Devra, that's such a beautiful name. It's a Hebrew name. That's a beautiful name, Devra. Thank you for the clarification. So, this is something I want you to take away this week. This is a little bit of homework from me that I'm giving you all this week. And if you need to find a meditation that's helpful, please be sure to check out the several ones that I have posted. Being in those frequencies, being in that energy, that will attune you to your core, to yourself. So that's the first message that's coming through from the Akashic records, is that connecting with spirit, allow yourself to be attuned, quiet the mind. The busyness is pulling you off your access. That's really what they're giving me. So let's move on to the next message. They're giving me 3 separate messages. So I hope this imbues you with a sense of lightness and enlightenment in the light. Okay. So that's the message here. Okay. It has to do with light, being in the light. Okay. So again, let's connect with the energetics of the Akashic records. This is the plane of the soul, the vibration of your soul's memory. It's every lifetime you've ever lived, your energetic history, but also all the wisdom you've been granted. Spending time in the Akashic records puts us into a higher state of consciousness and a higher state of awareness and much more clarity. So when you are in the energy of the Akashic records, even spending time there, you automatically begin to shift. And that means things that are troubling you, the things that you consider to be dark or heavy or blocked or intense, will start to budge. Many of you right now are having a lot of sort of blockages in some of your chakras. And it's okay for you not to know every single chakra right now. That will happen over time. The more you spend time with me on this channel, if you are in my programs, if you come into any of the workshops I do, or if you're part of my Goddess Rising membership, you'll learn about all of these topics in a way that's bite-sized or that works for your schedule, just to clarify that. So please be sure to check that out because it's so helpful. The whole entire thing is based on these energies. So what they're mentioning is that many of you have these, this heavy energy in your chakras, which is keeping you bogged down. Right. Right. Exactly. And wherever you're noticing it in your physical body, in your energy body, that's where the release will be coming. And a lot of you also are in your 3rd chakra as well. Your 3rd chakra is at your solar plexus. And so there's a sense of being weighed down. There's a sense of feeling controlled. There's a sense of anger. There's a sense of frustration. Now, we do have holy, righteous anger. That's a beautiful thing. Holy, righteous anger is a beautiful thing. When something's unjust, when something is corrupt, when something is unfair, when something is misaligned, we have a natural sense of protection over that which is not being able to stand up for itself. That's amazing. However, we can also be pulled way off our axis. That's the theme. If we don't stay in neutrality and we allow ourselves to be siphoned off in a microcosmic form to one issue at a time, we're much more powerful and aligned when we are centered. And so this week, I want you to take a look at your 3rd chakra to see, does this chakra feel imbalanced? Do I feel as though I'm plugging it up? Last week, or a week or 2 ago, I should say, I was having a very strong reaction to something going on, probably in the climate of the United States. And I noticed that I felt completely enmeshed in my 3rd chakra. It's a very normal thing, not uncommon. And so in that, I my guide said to me, "You're completely consumed by this. Notice that and get back to your center." So once I got back to my center, I was able to not give my power away to that which was triggering me. Does that make me less of an activist? Does that make me passive? Certainly not. But it makes me more powerful because when you're in power and you're clear, you have more mobility and you're much clearer. Last week, we talked about martial arts. I've never done martial arts. Why my guides are referencing this, I'm sure will make sense to some of you. But a lot of what is taught in many martial art forms is being centered, right? And not being reactionary and not being thrown off your center and your access. And so you being a step ahead of your opponent is very important. And that's what the divine feminine is. The divine feminine does not have to be soft and fluffy and nurturing and passive. She is the wisest one in the room because she sees how the corruption of the third chakra, the power center, you feel me, can brittle someone into a small formation of a clogged energy and take all the power away. So you always want to think about that when you're having a lot of things going on, whether it be very personal, whether it be through work, whether it be through dynamics in your environment, or whether that be in your country or the world. You don't want your power to be siphoned off and so reactionary that you can't react in kind. And I think most of you know what I'm talking about. Okay, let's take another sip. The other thing they're mentioning is don't feel like you have to justify your anger. It's okay just to be angry. That's what they're saying. Allow yourself to just enjoy your anger. Give yourself permission. Let it out. Feel it. It's sacred rage. This is part of the divine feminine. Oh, I'm going to read Deborah's beautiful comment she mentioned. I'll read that in a sec. So there is, I'll put it here while I'm talking so you can all read it. So what I'm getting is that having this strong stance is an offensive part of being a gatekeeper for the divine. Hear me when I say that. That was spirit. Having a strong stance and being in a position of power, you are a gatekeeper for the divine. Do you understand what I'm saying? So the divine power of spirit is the most powerful energy in the universe. And if you are in alignment in that way, you have more power than anyone else in the room. And that is for power for the good, right? That's power for the good. And that is also power for your own spirit coming through. So when you're on your journey, understand, right? When you're on your spiritual path right now, especially, that if you want to be part of what is creating the solution on the planet right now, that you will travel far. Your power will travel far if you're in that stance of clarity. So just think about that. Okay, friends? Let me know if this is resonating, please. And I'm going to continue and get our third message from the Akashic Records. Beautiful. Just checking in. So we have often in the Akashic Records, we work with specific guides. They do come forth. We can talk to archangels, ascended masters, of course, goddesses, our ancestors, nature spirits, a variety of spirits and entities can come forth. And in this case, I feel like an ascended master is coming forward. Resonates? I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad that resonates. I feel an ascended master coming forward, but I want to see who it is. Okay, just give me a moment. Okay. So it's interesting that Deborah, excuse me, it's going to take me a little while to look at that. I'll look at that differently phonetically, non-phonetically. That This, I feel it's interesting you said taekwondo because the first thing I'm getting is I really feel like I'm talking to a Far Eastern master, if that makes sense, right? I'm glad this is making sense. So, my first inclination was to feel like I had the Buddha here. And so I'm not quite sure if it's the Buddha. So I'm going to just lean in and see who's here. So this definitely just feels to me, I don't know if this is the Buddha or not, but it just feels like a Far Eastern master coming through, bringing through that level of consciousness. Let me just see who I'm getting here. Hang on a second. Okay, he's giving another name. I don't think he's well known, so let me see who this is. Okay, I'm actually gonna, those who were here last week will know this, but last week I brought out the dowsing rods. We're gonna do them again because I don't know who the spirit is. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about, now that I'm here, about dowsing rods. Okay, and also let's talk about, I'm going to put my chair up a little bit. Hang on, friends. Okay, so we're going to talk about what using divination tools in order to speak to spirits. We talked about this last week. Again, everything I do is really based in education, so people can learn to do these things themselves. But I used different tools when I'm talking to different spirits, and I'm not sure who they are. And I do this sometimes with my own guides. I will bring out different divination tools in order to bring forth clarity and messages. So I bypass my own mind and move into the subconscious and the spirit energy. And I do that in a couple ways. First of all, I'm a developed psychic medium. So 95% of the time, 95, that's high number. Let's say 85% of the time, I hear what their name is and it comes right in and I can validate it. I might pull out my pendulum to clarify in case. But in this case, they're wanting me to demonstrate. So sometimes they're not coming forth because they're wanting all of you to learn how to do it yourself. So let's talk one more time again about dowsing rods. A lot of people kind of make fun of these, and that's okay. I don't mind because they've made fun of me since I was 20 going to psychic school, and I'm still here. So, first of all, I have to say to you, these are made of copper. That's a very important part of working with a dowsing rod. Dowsing rods they have this L shape. Obviously, you can see that, but also they have this copper lay cylinder on top of it that moves on its own. So they're very sensitive to energy. Everything is energy around us. Spirits do have energy and they're connected. Their vibration is obviously at a higher plane than we are in the 3D world, but they can affect us. So when we're bringing out the dowsing rods, and again, I think they're really doing this so that all of you can learn, which I'm very happy about. So the way I work with them is I just have a very relaxed state. My arms are very relaxed. I'm a little bit coming back here. And so what I'm doing typically, let me move that a little, is I'm asking them specifically or telling them what my preferences are. So when I'm asking, so it moves independently. Okay, you can't really swing it the way it moves. This moves independently. So what I want to say is, hello and welcome to this. I want to specifically talk to the spirit who was just in the Akashic records talking to me. So it's lovely to meet you. Thank you for being here. And can you work with me with these dowsing rods, please? It will help. And I want you to go inside for yes, please. Okay, thank you so much. Super cooperative. And outside for no. Thank you. Amazing. He doesn't look like a warrior. He doesn't have anything like that. He's very humble looking. I'll definitely find a picture, Deborah, and show you. Okay, so we would love to know if, first of all, a little bit more about you, if we could. And it could be, I'll ask him those questions. I will ask all these questions and to see who this is. Okay. All right. So we will ask who this is. Okay. First of all, I kind of want to eliminate the Buddha to see. So if you could please, first of all, let us know where you are. Where are you sitting to me? That would be to the left or the right. Okay. The left. Again, you guys see my hands are perfectly fine. And I was feeling him over there too. Okay. Would you understand? Are you the Buddha? First of all, in for yes, out for no. Okay, very good. That's what we thought. Okay, so a few friends here are asking just to eliminate or to ask, is this a harangue? I'm going to say that wrong. Warrior, please. Okay. And then we're saying, is this lousy? First of all, lousy. No. Okay. All right. Would you understand, is this Confucius? Interesting. And okay, interesting. Okay, here's what I want to say. Let's get that again because you're giving me a message. He's giving me a message in my, I can hear him clairaudiently. I think there's a connection, but I don't know if it's them. So let's ask again. Are you connected to Confucius, please? Would you be Confucius? Okay, here's what I'm getting. I want to say, I feel like, are you a follower of Confucius? You see? Okay, so he's like a representative. This is interesting for me because I know nothing about this religion, this world. So we're going all together in this. So if you have, okay, so let's just go in with a lot of the questions. When I'm vetting a spirit, I ask some of these questions, but I don't know enough. So usually I do my research. So I like to talk about these things real time. Okay, so are you wanting to bring forth wisdom that you can share with our collective today? Okay, very good. And would this be a topic that you're very comfortable with? Okay, I'm going to show your comments here if I can. Oh, I love it. So yeah, feel free to ask questions. Okay. And so you understand then Confucianism. I think that's correct. Correct? Okay. All right. Are you wanting us to work on our being peaceful, learning to be peaceful? That's what he's telling me things and I'm asking him at the same time. Are you wanting us to learn how to not be so caught up in our emotions? Okay, thank you. And are you wanting us to learn to work on breath work? I love this. I'm between now and next week, guys. Guess let's all do our research. Okay. And did you do some form of Tai Chi? Do you recommend something similar to Tai Chi? Wow. I love Tai Chi. I haven't done it for 25 years. And do you feel like this is an expression? Amber, maybe do you mind looking that up for me if there's a connection there between anything there when Tai Chi would have come into play? That would be a fascinating thing to ask. As I ask Amber to like work for me over here, right? Hang on. Okay. So let me ask you this because I did Tai Chi classes when I was learning massage. So okay, here we go. So one thing I'm hearing you say is, do you feel like this is representative of how to walk through life in a difficult situation is by using Tai Chi as a practice? That's amazing. Okay, post Confucius. Okay, very good. Now, he could be bringing this through as a consciousness now, too. Okay, let's ask though. So, one of our members is saying Tai Chi is in later development, post Confucius. Can you tell us maybe when you adopted this? Was this, let me ask you this. Okay, first of all, were you incarnate when Tai Chi was developed, but you practiced Confucius? Let's ask that because remember, this isn't Confucius. Isn't this interesting? So again, Right? Exactly. Okay, let me ask. Okay, so I love this. I love this. This is my kind of conversation, right? If he is agi. Okay, let me ask. All right. Are you agi? Okay. All right. I love the questions. Yes, Tai Chi is meditation in motion, just confirming. Okay. So let me ask you this question, which I think is fascinating. Um, so what I'm hearing from you is that it seems that you practice Confucianism, but also at the later, it wasn't upon its inception. Is that correct? Okay, that's amazing. Okay, he's really asking me to listen. He's really working with my clair audience right now, so I can really hear him, which is amazing. And so, what we want to know, so really, this spirit is bringing forth help and mindfulness practices to help all of us with our stress levels, to integrate in spirituality and Tai Chi as a walking meditation. Is that what we're saying? Okay, that's a beautiful thing. That is a beautiful thing. Okay. Um, and let me see. I'm sure we can find good YouTube videos on Tai Chi for everybody. Is that correct? Okay. All right. He's really saying he wants everyone to have simple practices. That's why they make Tai Chi is at everywhere in all over in these different areas that everybody does it. Okay, thank you. Hang on, let's see. Tai Chi is about moving chi. We know this. It's also a balancing yin and yang, masculine and feminine, and is a martial arts focused developing chi. You guys, I'm going to ask him, I'll ask him his name, but I'm feeling like he's been hanging around us since last week. And why? Those of you who were here last week, remember I started making references to martial arts last week? I think he's been here since last week. Okay. Have you been here since last week, guiding us and wanting to bring the messages? Okay. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Amazing. Amazing. Okay. So good. Okay. Amazing. Um, a Shaolin monk. Okay, let me ask him. And Devra saying, I feel him. Okay, are you a Shaolin monk? Oh, Devra. Good. Amazing. Oh my God, we're getting it. That's why we have smart people in here doing research. We're doing research. This is not your average session on YouTube. Okay. So again, let's get some more education that Amber's helping us with this as well, and Deborah is too. So again, Tai Chi is about relaxing the mind, attending inward. He's so happy we're doing this. Slowing the body and the mind and the breath. Okay, so see how we're learning these things already, right? We're learning these things. This is all just channeling. Exactly. Tai Chi is about fighting the invisible partner yourself. Absolutely. So think about that. And you think about the wisdom of these ancient cultures. Why he's really happy. Think about the wisdom of and how old compared to the United States, which is where most of us live in North America. Think about taking that wisdom and that aggression and that disconnection and feeling imbalance. He's very happy about this. And working on mindset, balancing out masculine and feminine. Pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. Wow, I'm totally impressed. Okay. So I'm going to ask him to spell his name out. This is going to take a minute. So if anybody wants to write this down, right? I'll see if I can do this pretty quickly. Okay. And I'll do it in sequence. Okay. Does the first letter of your name, it's going to take a couple minutes. Is it, I'm just going to go through it. This is going to take, I'm trying to think of doing this succinctly. Would it be A through M? Okay. Awesome. All right. Is it the letter A? Is it the letter B? Is it, he's saying no. Letter C. Is it the letter D? He's telling me. Is it the letter E? Is it the letter F? Is it the letter G? Is it the letter, he is telling me, is it the letter H? Is it the letter I? Okay. All right. All right. And then, so it starts with the letter I. All right. So is the second letter between A and M? Okay. So the first letter is A. Okay. All right. Is it A, the second letter? Is it B? Is it C? Is it D? Is it E? Is it F? Is it G? Is it H? Is it I? Is it J? Is it K? Okay. Yeah. All right. Eek. Okay, he's telling me what it is, so I'll save some time. So, and we can look this up later what the meaning is. Remember, we're not leaving it into a region. He's telling me his name is Ikura. I'm going to write it down for you guys. Someone can look this up. It might mean something. And that's what he's saying. His name is Ikura. All right. Is there a significance to your name? Okay. Is there a reason that you've chosen this? Okay. Very good. Yeah, I know. I know. I'm going with it. I'm not in my head. This is part of being a medium. You can't think about any of these things. You just have to go with it. You can't analyze. It's sort of, that's how what I've learned doing. I'm a historical medium, so I deal with things from ancient cultures, and I just I do it exactly based on what they tell me. So, and remember, souls also exist in a lot of different dimensions, timelines. So if they're identifying with that, they've lived in other spaces, places, right? So they could, that's the name they're choosing for a reason. So it's doing it. And we want to stick with the name Ikura. Okay. All right. So did you have any other messages that you want to bring through for us that are important besides the Tai Chi? Okay. So the thing I'm hearing him say is he really wants he really wants the part of you that is the masculine. He's saying this in all forms to treat the feminine very well. So the part of you that's soft, the part of you that's receptive, the part of you that is a creator, the part of you that is it means salmon roe. There you go. There may be other there's different anyway, we'll figure that part out later. I will protect myself. Wow. So Deborah, he's like going, yes, every time I say it. So did you get that from Ikura as well? Okay, that's interesting. Oh my goodness. Okay, we're going with that. A different kanji. Okay. Okay. I'm going to put that up. Okay. Wow. This is like bing, bong, bing. This is very exciting. So down a rabbit hole we go. Welcome to a live stream with this group of people where you get all sorts of things channeled, evidential mediumship, but historical mediumship as well. You never know what you're going to get. So let's continue with him. Do you have other things than you that you want to talk to us about? You said protecting the feminine. He's really saying he wants there to be a protection between the divine feminine and the divine masculine. He says that's very important. And that comes in all places in your life, right? Wow, he's just moving them around. Again, look at my hands. Steady, 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 steady. He said that's so important to enjoy life, but also to make sure that you are being incredibly patient with yourself and with other people. You know, you guys have seen this. If you've ever seen it, I've been working with these for several weeks now, and sometimes I get it and they're not moving at all. Literally, they just sit here. You remember, Amber? So you'll just notice they're moving on their own independently. So there's a lot of activity from this spirit. There's a lot of activity. Ikura. Yes, very much so. Very much so. You know, he looks a little bit like someone I've seen before in a picture. His face is very much like that. So he's very gentle. Oops, hang on a minute. Just a sec, guys. Stick with me. My camera went blitzo. Wait a sec. Be right back. Okay. Just a sec, friends. I'll be right there. Okay. I'm going to switch to my other camera, guys. Just a second. Let me go to my other camera. Just a second. I'll just go to my regular. Yes. Hang on a sec, friends. There we are. My other camera just decided to take a break. So we'll just keep going on with this. Thanks for being here, guys. Okay. We continue. We move forward. We always march forward. We never go backwards. We always do. So let's continue. So let me continue with him. Just to make sure you guys can see me still. Okay, good. All right, that's it. We just have the regular camera now. So yeah, he's super gentle, very okay, let me ask him a question. Did you have anything to do with the camera? Yes. Well, there you go. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. There we go. That's him. Just having some fun is what he's saying. And also he's a little bit of a trickster in a nice way. He's a bit of a jokester. Okay, there we go. All right. Now, before we end with you, you've been so lovely. Thank you so much for being here. Do you have any cards you want me to pull for you? Let me just do that. Hang on a sec. Let me see the cards he's having me go to. I know. I love these kinds of lives, spending time discovering, researching, and learning. That's what we do here. We always spend time doing something. We love that. Let me just see where I'm drawn to. What deck he's asking me to use. Just a second, please. He's like, ooh, I get to choose. Yes, you do. He's interested. Let's see what we got for him. So he's drawing me into one of my traditional decks, but it's gold. So he likes that. I think gold is specific. It's my Rider-Waite-Smith deck, but it's definitely one that do. So he'll give us a message from this, and then we'll bid him adieu. It was lovely working with him. Isn't he wonderful? This is what I love about these sessions, and this is why we do spirit communication. It's just so fascinating, and there's so much to share and tell and all kinds of things. Okay, let's see what he's got. Let's see what he's got. Let's see what he wants. He's asking me to pull 3 cards, so we're going to do that. We will pull 3 cards, and he wants to represent. He's got his own representation. He wants to represent day, night, and shadow. That's what he just said. Day, night, and shadow. He's our kind of spirit, you guys. He's very into metaphors and almost like Jungian experiences. We like that. All right, let's see. All right, let's pull 3 cards for him, shall we? Bottom of the deck, the Chariot card. Also, while we're talking about this with Ikura, is I do want to talk to you guys about, after this, my Goddess Rising membership and some new things we're doing there. Okay. He's bringing us pentacles, he's bringing us swords, and he's bringing us cups. So we're missing he said 4 cards is good. We are missing fire in this. Okay, so the first card that's coming out here is the 8 of Cups. I want you to notice that. Whatever you're picking up on yourself, notice that first. Then we're getting the 5 of Swords. This is definitely talking about some of the things which is the theme has been today, which is reacting offensively instead of defensively, martial arts. Then we have the 3 of Pentacles, right? Collaboration, building something together as a unified group. Oops, there goes my camera. Ugh. All right, let me check my connection, make sure my connection's good. One sec, guys. Yeah, my connection's fine. Okay. Then we have the Five of Pentacles. Okay. So, what do we know about what he's saying here? His energy really is bringing my attention to the Five of Swords. And he's saying you have to learn to walk away from the competition, but outsmart them. This is really a metaphor. We have so much going on with toxic masculinity in our world that we need to learn, even if we're at home with our kids or not going out to a protest, that we, in fact, are standing strong, knowing that we are not giving our energy and our power to that which would misuse it. Everything is made up of energy. And if you are spending your energy leaking and leaking it out and feeling disempowered, you in fact are giving it away to those who would consume it, right? Think about it. So the Eight of Cups is walking away from something. It means you're parting from something that is no longer in resonance with you. So if you think about that, right, we're getting that sense of the Five of Swords and we're separating from that. And then we're Eight of Cups, right? We are moving into a place of empowerment. Very important. Now, one thing I'm really getting, this to me, the card I'm getting here, I'm going to tell you what it is. So this is going to make sense to you. This to me is the card of the immigrant. I'm going to say it. I'm going to own that. This is the card of the immigrant. And this is the card of shelter and protection. So right now, there is such an important part. I don't care what part of the world you live in when you're watching this, that what is known by all spiritual leaders throughout history who were of alignment and squarely really were in alignment, right? Exactly. Beautiful message. Is that you want to protect those that are vulnerable and to work together collaboratively with those like-minded people who will protect those that cannot protect themselves. So you all know what we're talking about here, right? It doesn't matter where you live. It's if you see someone who's vulnerable in any country you live in or someone who needs help and cannot fend for themselves, it's just that assignment, right? It's the assignment and the responsibility of us, of those of us in humanity, doing whatever we can to protect those that can't protect themselves. But also going back to Ikura's message, I will say to this to you, that there is an assignment and alignment to protect the divine feminine. The divine feminine is not weak. She is not vulnerable. She is not in any way someone to be trifled with. But if you think about this, they just gave me the image of the queen bee. If you think about the queen bee with bees, the queen bee is always protected, but she is also the generator and the powerhouse. You see what I'm saying? So in a matriarchal culture, you will have that assignment that at all costs, there is a female leader who you have to protect. But think about that in terms of yourself. Think about that in terms of your own energy. Think about that in terms of your household, your friendships, right? Protecting that which is vulnerable. Okay. I love that message. And we want to thank Ikura and bless him. And now we can ask him to, now we're going to move on. We want to thank him and we can close the door with him. Thank him for being here from the Akashic Records. So we're closing the Akashic Records. Okay, friends. Thank you for adapting. Again, I'm going to now my less wonderful camera, which is okay. We're moving on. Okay, friends. We're moving on to the last part of our reading here, which is that we are now moving into exciting. We are moving into the ancestor message. Wasn't that wonderful? I'm so excited. I'm like Amber, Deborah, everybody. Wow. I'm like, what just happened? That was amazing. Okay, let me look something up before we go, and then we're going to go into ancestor messages, and I'll tell you guys what that's all about. That's amazing as well. Okay, here we go. Let me just look something up before we move on. Okay. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Um, okay. Okay. You know what else ikura means besides the salmon roe, which is a wonderful pun? It also means how much. How much. Um, how much. I love that. I love that. So I'm going to sit with that besides the roe. But also, if you think about even roe is an egg, and an egg is something that is a starter of something that you create, a seed, right? It's a beginning. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to move into an ancestor message. So when I do this specifically, everybody, if you're new to my channel on me doing these live streams, this is when I do mediumship essentially. And when I do mediumship, it's different every time. Sometimes I bring through messages from a specific ancestor, and it's usually someone in the audience. Sometimes it's a collective of messages. Um, oh, the level of measuring in Asia. Uh, don't get me started, but let's carry on. I love this. Okay, Deborah. How much? How much? That just right there is that question. So, um, and that's his name, just like my name's Carey, you know. So let's see. Um, okay. So one thing I want to say is that when we bring through messages, sometimes it is going to be specifically for one of you. And if it is that case, what I would love for you, those are here. If you can claim this ancestor, it's your person, you'll know. And you'll be able to let me know in the comments. But make sure that you say, just put hearts in the comments. Don't put down a lot of information because I want to bring forth the loved one first and to see who comes forth. Okay. So if this is your person, you can just put hearts. Okay. If you can, but you have to be able to take all the information by at least 90-95%. So sometimes what you get is like a postcard, we call it, which is an overlay of information that is resonant, but it isn't exactly your loved one, but that happens all the time. Okay. So let me just see who's coming forward. All right. So let's get ready. I'm going to just open up my energy and see who's here. Okay. I do feel like I have one soul coming through. It's a male. This is a male on the father's side of the family. He's coming through when he's in a younger years. This feels like a grandfather. So for someone here. And when I'm in his energy, I'm being very struck by some physical experiences in his body. So in my abdomen, I'm feeling very nauseous. I'm feeling winded. He's telling me a few things. This person, I believe, passed away when he was in his 40s, 45, he's saying, or the number 45 is connected. So then definitely looks like it's something further back. This is not anything in recent history, but it's definitely something that probably would have happened. Even in like the mid 1900s, possibly more or less. Just see what I'm getting here. He's an ancestor for sure. So he was affected by smoke. I also feel like possibly he worked in a factory and there were toxins or something where he was exposed to toxins. This was before there would have been any regulations whatsoever. He's also referencing the letter M in a name. Now, if you can claim this person, some of you may not know, and that's okay. Then, even if you happen to be in the Facebook chat, you might have to zip on over because I can't see it, but this is definitely someone belongs to somebody in this chat, or I would be surprised. It could come later. It does happen sometimes. So I'm going to bring through a message that he's talking to me about. He really wants to share forgiveness. I get this sense with him that probably there was alcohol involved in his demise. This definitely looks like hard liquor, and I'm seeing brown hard liquor. This would be like whiskey or mm, this definitely, excuse me, feels like a grandfather, or someone could even be a great grandfather. And then he also is mentioning the word heritage. He's talking about how there's been memories have been erased from some of the family albums, as though some family albums were either damaged, possibly in either a with water or a fire. And you would know this because there's been family picture albums that have been damaged. And I feel like he was in some of those, is what he's mentioning to me. He is showing me this is an area where he lived. And I'm seeing, I feel like this is a factory. He's showing me a factory. Devrek, 90% for Christy. Devra is also saying too. Okay. If you guys can let me know in the comments how you can take this, just stick with what I've shared already. Feel free. It's a little bit of a postcard for me, but the maternal side. Thank you. Okay, wonderful. Just kind of put some of these comments on so everybody can see later. Okay. 90% and then possibly here. Okay. So yeah. Let me talk to you about what he is showing me. So he's showing me this hill. It's very interesting because I saw actually this was from the mini series that was about, wow. Hang on, stick with me. Okay. This is a mini series. I'm just going to say it because I'm seeing it. This is a mini series I saw that was connected to the royal family, and what I'm seeing is what it looks like. Similar. This just could be an equation. You can know that there was a landslide that happened. It was like mud that came down onto this village in England, and there was a lot of loss of life. So I'm just seeing what this relation is. Grandfather passed in 1965. Alcohol factory, not sure. Okay, Christy, that's a lot of checks. And then would you understand, never met him, which is not surprising. Let me ask you this, and then Deborah is saying, I don't know my grandfather, but ruined scrapbook and alcohol. No, not in England, not in you. Okay. Now hold on about the England, because that might be like an illustration of something. I don't quite get it. Yeah, there's definitely something like in his throat. Ooh, hang on a second. Wow, I'm just getting in my throat is really hurting. It's pretty bad right now. So here's what I want to talk about when I'm looking at ruined photos in a flooded basement. Okay, that's ringing the bell for me a lot. So he was mainly giving me the equation. It didn't necessarily happen in England. I did want to reference that. Okay. Very good. Okay, I feel like this is making sense. Let me go a little further, since Deborah and you both have a lot of things. It's not the England, it's just the combination of the, ruined scrapbook is and then, something happened with, like, water or mud or something. So let's keep going, friends, and see what we're getting. I do wanna talk about with this ancestor, I wanna say something because he's coming forward, he's talking about that he had a lot of I would probably call him someone who had negative bias about other races. I have to be careful the words I use. I think you know what I mean. So, he had very negative views of other groups of people, other races of people, this person. He's telling me he was hardwired that way, that he was taught to be like that. Separation and segregation. Okay. This was like looking down on that was what you were taught, is what I'm hearing him say. And he is really saying that that was a big mistake. That was really unfortunate. You were taught to be separate from other people and that you were different and this was wrong. That's what he's saying. Being judgmental. I can see that, but can't confirm based on where my family's from. I know. I can tell you, even my own grandfather, and we live in California, he had his opinions, let's put it that way. So it's like a generational thing almost. You know what I mean? It's that's a tough one, but it's a generational thing of that era. Let me keep going here. He's really mentioning he feels very sorrowful for being that having those opinions, and he feels like that just tended to show up on people's radar. That was just something that people did, unfortunately, is judge others in this way. Okay. But he's also saying that now he feels he's coming back and saying, I feel ungrateful because I was given so much and so many were not given so much. Right. I exactly. Yes, absolutely. And you can definitely take anything that connects, makes a lot of sense, right, Deborah? That makes sense. Yeah, that's what I'm getting. So he's really saying that he's saying he believes much more in peace. He believes much more in unification. He believes a lot more in people coming together and not separation. And this is why I feel he's coming forth today, as well as any messages, is to let people know that we should all be taking the time to care for each other. He wants to give you that message too. Christy, he's also, I feel like this is for you, but anybody can take this, that specifically he's saying he's so proud of the way you are with people, that you're so kind and you include people and that you look out for your fellow man and you take time, you go out of your way to make people feel included. He's saying we just weren't taught to do that. We weren't taught to represent all people and that all people should be represented. And he feels like that was wrong and that you do such a good job about making sure people feel like they are heard and represented. He's very proud of that in you. And that you've taken a lot of time to not judge others and to put differences aside, and also to work on your own mindset about others. That's what he's mentioning quite strongly. I think that's a message for all of us, isn't it? Because this is, our ancestors did not have the same insights we did. Even if they were good people, they were taught to judge and separate and discriminate or to feel victimized. And it's, there's so much there. Thank you. I need to hear encouraging words. I've been so sad. I know. I know. I'm glad. I'm very glad he's come through and he was so helping you and in so many ways feel the sense of how proud he is of who you are and giving you that perspective. So I'm thanking him. Now, what was his name? Christy. And then after this, guys, stick around because we're going to do the weekly giveaway. And I'll get my pen ready for that. I have a very special something to give away this time. Here it is. His son just passed last week. Oh my gosh. So now we know one of the reasons he came forward, which makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? Okay. His son just passed last week and his name was Johnny King. Okay, very good. Thank you. He was your uncle. Okay, very good. Thank you for sharing that with us. And thank you to Johnny King. He's a lovely person. Okay. And his son has the same name. Wow. Okay. Amazing. Well, thank you for sharing that. All right, everybody. So now we are moving on to the last part of our weekly live stream. And I want to thank you all for being here. It always flies by. I'm so glad to connect with you all each week. Let me give you a couple of things that are going on before we move on to this. So if you're not following me already and subscribe to the channel, please do so. Also, it helps my channel tremendously if you watch the videos I have as long as you can, even if you help me right now, because I'm trying to grow my channel. It's so helpful. As many videos, engaging with them as much as possible, commenting, liking, watching them through is so helpful for me. Also, I will tell you, I have some very exciting programs coming up next month. I'm also offering the 7-week Akashic Records reading course. And we have the Goddess Rising membership, which is already in place, which is beautiful. It's a membership that's so wonderful. We do every month, we work with a different goddess. We also do a lot of healing work there. We work in the Akashic Records. We work on intuitive development. We work on shadow work, healing, divine feminine. But now, if you join the Goddess Rising Circle twice a month now, we are doing what I call the Sanctuary, which is a development circle. And we have been we are going to be, first of all, in the beginning, it's an hour and a half, 2 times a month on Sunday mornings. And what we do there is I'm so excited about it. We'll do some education. In this case, we're going to actually start learning tarot. I'm going to teach you how to do intuitive tarot. It's going to take a while, but it'll be fun. But also then you're going to be learning to do practice intuitive readings on each other, or you could work on mediumship if you're doing that, or you could work on Reiki energy healing, whatever your modality is. So it's going to be great. If you're interested in learning more about the Goddess Rising membership, all the links are on my page. Okay. All right. Now, here's the deck we're going to be giving away today. This is a small pocket-sized version of the one I use regularly. This is the Goddess Power Oracle by, I think this is Colette Baron Reed's mini deck. Amazing that I'm parting with this. I'm so glad you feel uplifted, Deborah. That makes me so happy. So if you have not yet won anything, please, if you want to participate, please put your name in the chat. Only your first name is fine. And then if you win, I want you to email me at carey.thepsychic@gmail and give me your name and your email address. I know, I love it. So again, if you haven't won, if you're interested, just put your first name. I'll write you down and you're going to be going from the Ancestor Cup and we will get started. Go ahead whenever you're ready. Yeah, this deck is really special. I love this deck. It doesn't come with a guidebook, but pretty straightforward. Okay, so Amber, thank you for participating. Good luck. Hi, Sandy. It's nice to see you. Hi, Jana. How are you? Okay. Thanks, everybody. Leanne. Oh, my gosh. I'm so glad to see everybody. Thank you for being here, guys. Okay. Jana, we missed you last week. I've got to upload let's see, Monday, I should say. I've got to upload the latest Goddess Rising thing. And also you'll have to check it out too. Lizzie! All right, so that was Miss Leanne. I think I've got everybody so far. Amazing. All right, would anybody else who hasn't won yet like to participate in this? We thank you for being here. Again, we are giving away. Oh, good. Well, Jana, I've got so much to tell you. Dion, I love you. I miss your face. Okay, Dion. Okay, thank you. You just got back. Amazing. I'm going to upload that tomorrow morning. You'll love the session. It's wonderful. Anyway. Oh, you're so sweet. Okay, I won't enter you. Okay, Dion, you're so funny. Okay, take your name out. All right, guys. Anybody else want to participate and be entered in to win this sweet little deck? Okay. Devra. Sorry, I keep seeing your DB. Okay, Devra. All right. Anybody else want to participate? Okay. All right. Good luck, everyone. And once you've won, please do me a favor and email me at carey.thepsychic your address so I can send it. I'm sending these out Monday, finally getting to this. I'm behind a few weeks on the other ones. Okay, here we go. Good luck, everybody. Let's see who comes out. Oh, Devra, congratulations. Wonderful. All right. And thank you everybody for participating. Oh, I'm so glad, Dion. That's amazing. I'm so glad. I love my education. So this was a really interesting one. Oh, you guys are so sweet. And I want to say, all you guys who come every week, thank you so much for being here. It really means so much to me. I just adore my community, and I'm so excited meeting all of you who are new. And thank you for being here. And believe me, if you're here enough, you will definitely win one of these decks. I promise you, it's coming. The other thing is, if you have any questions, I also want to say, if you ever want to get a private reading, you can go to my website and easily find me there. And I have a variety of readings I do, from Zoom ones to being able to get a reading with me. I tape record them. Those are kind of nice, just depending on what you're wanting and your budget. And they're all really good. So I want to thank you guys again. This was an amazing live. I mean, we had the craziness with the camera, but who cares? It was kind of exciting. We want to thank Ikura for coming. That was such a surprise. Like, you never know what's going to happen. And that's what I love about these. It's so exciting, and I love work. How are you guys liking working with the dowsing rods? I think they're really, really interesting. I used to kind of cap on them and think, I don't know. But now that I'm working with them, I absolutely love them. I'm obsessed. I'm a little obsessed. Oh, good. I'm so glad. One of the best parts of you. Thank you, guys. I want to send you so many blessings. Be well. Take care of yourselves and each other. And I know, I'm glad, Leanne. All right, everybody. And again, if you're interested in joining Goddess Rising membership or Circle, I recommend Circle, because then you get to be in development with me, plus everything else in there. And we're going to start working on tarot next week. So if you have any questions about that, you can email me or message me here on YouTube. I want to thank you again. Have an amazing weekend. If you're going to, oh, you too, Sandy. Thank you, Deborah. Love to everybody. You guys too. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you all. Be well. See you soon.